Doris versus Pollution is the 16th episode of the third season of the Doris Day Show, and I did enjoy this, but I made basically no notes, and that's kind of unusual for me with the Doris Day Show. Usually there'll be things that I want to pluck out as being particularly interesting. Well, there was one thing I didn't note it down, but the dancing with Billy and Toby and Ethel I thought was tremendous fun. It's a very small, brief moment in the episode, but that was worthy of note. The rest of it is good. There might not be anything specific I wanted to mention, but just the overarching narrative is really important and definitely something that I think is still relevant today because, unfortunately, of course, pollution is still a thing. Doris realises that some of the plants on her patio are dying. And it turns out this is because of sulphur and the sulphur in the air. So she manages to find the sulphur factory, mostly by smell alone, which was kind of interesting. And she demands that they stop producing whatever they're making with sulphur. And obviously that's not going to work, but she does go on this tirade to try and get things changed. And I won't say exactly what happens, but the message here is that there are ways you can do things and keep running your business while reducing the amount of pollution you create. And as I said, I won't say exactly how this message comes about or what happens or indeed the lengths Doris needs to go to, but that's a really brilliant message that I think we can, I guess, unfortunately, still pay attention to today, because I'm sure there are many companies who are still polluting the atmosphere when there are measures they could be taking. And let's face it, most of the time when they don't take those measures is because of the cost that comes with it. And this is certainly one of the reasons why this factory was quite happily pumping the sulphur into the air, because the steps they would have to take would be very expensive. But I'd like to think that cleaner air doesn't have a price on it. And it's a nice way to deliver this message. We have some nice moments with Mr. Harvey, and Colonel Fairburn is in this one, which I thought was great. I rather enjoyed his character in this episode. So there were plenty of things that worked well, things that I enjoyed, and it's a really important message. It is just, unfortunately, not one where there are lots of specific things that I want to mention or want to highlight as being particularly great, but it's by no means a bad episode. There's nothing that didn't work. The narrative flowed well, and the message is very well delivered, and we get a lot of different perspectives as well. It's not just Doris versus the factory. There are other people involved, other opinions, and I think that was a really nice way to give a much wider overview of how this can affect people. So it's a good episode. It might not be a personal favourite, but I still think Doris versus Pollution is pretty great and definitely really important.